Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. I'm DK Diamantes, blah, blah, you know the intro. Bricky's gonna teach us all about the most ridiculous things in Warhammer 40k, and today, I imagine it is going to be very, very ridiculous, because this is a landmark episode. But before we get into that, if you enjoyed today's podcast, consider supporting us over at patreon.com/adeptusridiculous, where you can get access to our Discord, bloopers if they happen, some real fine art posters. I will leave it up to your imagination what fine art is, but the next poster is, I believe it's Latara Sarin abs. So, fantastic. Consider supporting the Patreon, patreon.com/adeptusridiculous, at Bricky merch, and tell us about today's episode and how fantastic it's going to be.
Well, I'm glad you were a little bit more subtle about the posters this time around. If you want to get merch, both the t-shirt and hoodie and Doge Van Dyer stickers, I think we're actually running low on those. You should check it out over at orchidate.com or in the description. Adeptus Ridiculous. Also, free shipping if you spend over $75 in the US. Sorry, British, but I was going to give you the discount, but only if you won your football game.
Oh,
unfortunate.
Damn, you're gonna do them like that?
Dude, I could not give a shit about football. When your favorite hockey team loses, I'll make fun of you too.
Oh,
everyone, I believe in prejudice equality.
Oh, my favorite hockey team already lost in the Stanley Cup Finals, so.
That's why you have to be a Raiders fan. How can you ever be disappointed?
I actually, you say that, but I am a Raiders fan.
Are you constantly disappointed?
Oh, absolutely. That's
well then you never have to worry about it.
That's the Raider way, really. That's how it goes. So
there's a lot of Warhammer has a very large contingent of British fans, and so I like to make them angry about their football kicking.
Ah, of course.
It's just enjoyable to me.
Okay.
Because I'm a petulant man-child. Just call me Perturabo.
You're gonna get so much hate for that, man.
Whatever. It's not like they can't bully Conrad any more than they have.
I would join in. I would join in with you on the Perturabo stuff, but I don't know anything about him, so sorry.
Well, let me tell you something else you don't know anything about. The Alpha Legion.
Oh, does anybody know anything about the Alpha Legion?
I do now.
Hey!
So, alright. The Alpha Legion. This has been a long time coming.
Yep.
Okay. So, the Alpha Legion... okay, so, in order for preparation for this episode, I researched the Alpha Legion, and then I read Alpharius, Head of the Hydra, the book.
Right.
Now... I cannot imagine anyone had a grasp on fucking anything Alpha Legion before this book came out. Because when I researched the Alpha Legion, I had no idea what the fuck was happening.
Yep.
I had no clue what was what. I had no idea what, in God's name, if they were loyalists, if they're not, which one, if it was Alpharius or if it was Omegon, if it was Pepe or if it was Sylvia. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. The book has helped me out immensely in the realm of the Primarch.
Okay.
It did not help me out a whole lot with the Legion.
Okay. The only thing I know about the Alpha Legion is everybody keeps making the meme, I'm Alpharius, right? That's the only thing I know, and that they might be not Chaos, and they might be Sleeper Cell agents, but that's a lot of rumor mill, not really confirmed shenanigans. So, yeah.
So there are a couple memes that Warhammer, because Warhammer fans are literally like S tier at beating dead horses. There's a couple memes that they won't let die. Krieg with shovels.
That's fair.
Because like the new Krieg models got announced and they don't have they're not hitting anyone with shovels. And I'm like, they don't fucking do that. It's a meme. Or AdMech fucking toasters is their meme. And one of them is I am Alpharius, and that is okay. because that is kind of the point. Okay. Let's just get to this is the Primarch episode on Alpharius.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about Alpharius. I'm Alpharius.
Okay. All right. So, I am Alpharius, the voice actor in the books at Alpharius, but regardless, it works out.
Okay.
This is the 20th Legion, Double X.
Double X.
Double X. The first Legion was actually the Dark Angels, which are not chaos. Another dead meme that they won't let die. But you perpetrated even more with your lack of understanding.
Yeah, I didn't know. I knew the Blood Angels were vampires, so I was like, oh yeah, if a Blood Angel goes to chaos, it's a Dark Angel. I don't know.
Dark Angels. So originally, okay, I'm gonna tell you. I'm just gonna. Don't if you were listening to this, don't comment before the episode's over.
Oh wow, way to get everybody to comment before the episode is over.
Please don't do it. I'll make fun of your football team again. So with Alpharius, Horus was out doing shenanigans. He was out and about killing things. Eventually he was forced to deal with an enemy fleet that had entered from some planet or whatever, right?
Right.
Big old enemy fleet. He engaged said enemy fleet, and then as he was engaging the enemy fleet, he ended up actually having an insurgent onto his ship, the Vengeful Spirit, right?
Okay.
This insurgent jumped into his ship, killed a couple people, and then started attacking his Terminator bodyguard, and made his way all the way into the same throne room as Horus.
Oh.
But as he was fighting off his bodyguard, Horus yelled to, like, cease. And then he looked at the person fighting him, and immediately, because Primarchs, he's like, brother, like, we have finally found you. And it was Alpharius.
Okay.
Alpharius is the last Primarch to be discovered. And so, with Alpharius finally being found, in reality, Alpharius had actually ended up kind of working his way out of his homeworld, creating his own like fleet, getting his own group, and that fleet was actually going out like causing problems, and that's why Horus was sent to deal with them. And as Alpharius made his way to the flagship, they're like, wait a minute, yo brother, like shit, let's stop, no more shit, let's stop, hold up, you're the last guy. So Alpharius was kind of just dropped into the world. You know, he was just kind of there, he was arrived, and as Alpharius has like, well, once he was found, he was everything that normal would happen. He was given his own legion, of course, the 28th Legion. And the bigger and more interesting part about Alpharius is that he's actually a dual Primarch. There's two of them.
Oh.
There's Alpharius, and then there's Omegon.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a thing that you could do.
They are twins.
Oh.
In the picture Shy posted, see there's a dude behind him.
Oh yeah, there is a dude behind him. Oh, that's
Yeah.
creepy. Like, she posted that picture earlier, and I didn't see the dude behind him, and now that I see it, I'm like, oh, that's creepy.
It is often referred to the concept that their souls are actually like halved, and so they're twins. And so when they're united, they're actually more like one Primarch. They're normally referred to as Alpharius Omegon instead of just Alpharius or Omegon. They're
Right.
Alpharius Omegon.
So if you manage to corner Alpharius without Omegon or whatever, would it be significantly easier to fight him than like another Primarch?
He's still pretty darn good, but the two of them together make for a very potent fighting force.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if Alpharius would be able to 1v1 Russ or like the Lion, but together, I think absolutely, because then it's basically two Primarchs.
Sure. Yeah.
Alpharius is a bit shorter. I think he's the smallest Primarch. He's a bit shorter than everyone else. He's still a Primarch.
So what? He's only 8 feet tall instead of 10.
Yeah, he's a little small. He's the smallest Primarch technically. But when given his legion and Alpharius Omegon together, Omegon was actually found by a world that had been taken over by a Xenos race called the Sloth, or the Sloth,
Okay.
which are fucking disgusting. I had never heard them before. But they basically kind of like took him as like a, hey, what's this weird human thing? Poke, 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 and like fuck with his head and stuff. Until he was eventually rescued by the Emperor. Because you know, he's like, get the hands off of me for the Xeno scum.
Sure.
And blast them. So the two of them are together. They have their group. They have their legion, the 20th, the Alpha Legion. And the Alpha Legion specializes massively in all the underground shenanigans. We're talking assassinations, sleeper cells, sabotage, deconstruction of infrastructure, political plots, coups, espionage, all the secret stuff. In fact, so much so that a lot of the Alpha Legion guys are actually a little bit taller. I think they're the tallest Marines. I think Salamanders are the biggest in general, but the Alpha Legion guys are a bit taller.
Okay.
And since Alpharius and stuff are a bit shorter, a lot of the times, other Alpha Legion members will have their faces reconstructed to look like Alpharius and act on his behalf, which is why they're always saying, I am Alpharius.
That's the meme.
That's the meme.
You. Okay.
They're like, oh, I'm going to destroy this base that the Alpha Legion are on. I heard Alpharius is there. And it was just some dude saying he was Alpharius.
I mean, if you're a squad that's into, like, nefarious, underground, sort of espionage spy stuff, I mean, it kind of works. I mean, that's kind of probably what you want. I mean, it's also pretty decent fear tactic because everyone's like, oh my god, Alpharius destroyed, you know, 2 bases at the same time. He's so amazing.
Yeah, Alpharius was over there and Omegon was over there, and then but we're getting reports of Alpharius on the other side of the galaxy. It's just it doesn't work. Like often he'll send somebody to do diplomacy as like a Primarch, but he's just a guy who looks like Alpharius, but no one knows because he's just still like Marines.
So wait, is the whole squadron like that, or is it just some of them reconstruct their faces?
Some of them.
I was gonna say if you've got a whole legion and everybody looks like Alpharius, that's some mindfuckery. When you're fighting anybody.
Do you see the book cover that Shai posted up a few pictures? You see how the dudes on his left and the right are also bald and look like Alpharius?
Oh my god, they do, don't they?
Yep.
I only took a passing glance at the cover and I didn't notice that, and oh god. The Spider-Man meme works so good here.
It does. So, you know, you're Alpharius. So, with some time, the Alpha Legion was pretty late into the Great Crusade. They helped and did the best they could, normally by destabilizing governments and stuff prior because of their, like, stupid, little mischievous espionage and stuff, which generally gave them a major discomfort with their other brothers. Like, Guilliman did not like him. Because he's, who would have guessed that? Rogel Dorn really didn't like them because he can't read.
I was gonna say, what, can they read? Are they educated? Like,
are they literate? Mortarion also didn't like him. They all basically was like, these are dishonorable ways of warfare.
Yeah.
You know, like if you're gonna do this, you're gonna do standard military practices. You're gonna do real battles. You're not gonna destabilize the government and assassinate their high leaders and all this stuff.
Even though it's more efficient, it's not as honorable.
Exactly. One time, Guilliman legitimately said that a operation was a waste of the Emperor's bolt shells.
Oh, all right.
It's a drawn out waste of bolt cells. The only person who was really down with this was Horus.
No, he was kidding.
He was so impressed. He was like, damn, that's badass. That's some cool shit. This is neato. Good job.
Of course he would be. Of course. If anybody was going to be down with the efficient, dishonorable, of course it would be Horus. Of course.
Well, Horus was a pretty cool guy.
That's true. This is before he was traitor, before he had like any of his crazy visions after he got stabbed, right? Okay.
Considering that Horus was first to be found and Alpharius last, they kind of had a little bond, especially since he was the one who found him.
Oh, okay. So it's the first and the last Primarch. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So soon, skipping ahead, the heresy begins. Right? The heresy starts. The heresy begins. And then, dun dun dun. And so it didn't take a ton to get the Alpha Legion onto Horus's side because of their growing friendship and because of how much everyone else didn't really like them.
Yeah.
That being said, something much more important happened during this period of time. It was this weird visions are everywhere in the Horus heresy. But Alpharius and Omegon were contacted by members of a Xenos-led organization called the Cabal.
Oh.
It's like multiple different Xenos and a human. This guy named John Grammaticus, who was basically like a perpetual, like Vulcan, couldn't die.
Yeah.
And they all were like a council of psychers or something of that nature, and provided two visions to him during this period of time, where they said the first and the last, Horus and Alpharius, would be the biggest and most important people in this heresy.
Okay.
And they said that if the first vision was that the Alpha Legion remained loyal to the Emperor and fought against Horus, the Emperor would win, but he would be gravely wounded and entombed into the Golden Throne. And after 10,000 years, the Imperium of Man would be slowly faded to decay, and chaos would eventually kill them all. The second outcome was that the Alpha Legion would join Horus and fight with the Emperor, or fight against the Emperor, and the Emperor would be killed. This would have all the traitor legions, and Horus becoming a demon prince of chaos. However, with this, Horus would go on a 100-year bloody reign, wiping out almost all of humanity, but therefore starving chaos. And then humanity would go extinct, but so would chaos.
So, according to those visions, right? If I'm repeating a little bit. So, first vision is that Alpha Legion stays with the Emperor, but Emperor becomes Corpse Emperor, yada blah blah. Second one is they join Chaos, and Horus wins, goes on tyrannical rampage for 100 years, starves Chaos, Chaos dies.
Right. So on one hand, the first one sounds like where we're currently at. If the Alpha Legion help the Emperor.
Yeah, that's the one that I was like, wait,
It's backwards,
that
right?
sounds like what actually happened, and I was under the assumption that the Alpha Legion was a traitor legion. So if that vision is right, then they didn't go traitor.
But they did go traitor.
So the visions were just wrong?
Or that is what gives weight to the concept that they fake went traitor and are actually loyalist.
So they're okay. That's kind of where I was. Yeah, that's where the cogs were turning. I was like, I guess I've heard that meme before where they're like potentially like a splinter cell and they're not actually chaos and they're just faking it because fuck you traitors, we gotcha.
Right, and that's the question, is like either the visions were wrong or they were actually pretending to be chaos and sabotaging from within.
How often are these sort of I don't want to say psyker. How often are these visions wrong in 40K? Because usually when they bring up a vision, if you fill out all the prereqs for a vision, that shit happens. In 40K anyway. I haven't really heard too many instances of like psyker visions being like, oh nope, they were just wrong. Nothing to worry about.
It's more so the concept that the visions are they are a future. It is not every future.
Okay.
Like it is a future. So they can be wrong almost every time, but often people attempting to make the future not happen cause the future to happen, you know?
Okay.
Like, I guess there's the option where, like, okay, hey, you got a vision that in 20 years you will be a grand general, and if that guy just puts a pistol to his head and blows himself up, that future isn't gonna happen.
It's true.
But perhaps, something happens here and there, and then who knows?
Yeah, or just him knowing like that there's a vision where he becomes a general. Maybe that like kicks him into gear. And if he had never heard the vision, he never tries to become one. But now that he knows it, he actively anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem with prophecy, is it's always here and up and down. So because of this, they had big thinking on what was going to happen, and they decided that they think the more noble thing to do was to kill chaos in its entire. I'm going to kill chaos.
Oh God, I'm
here
tired of
to
that
kill
meme.
chaos.
Oh my God, I hate it.
So they actually chose humanity extinction, chaos death, and joined up with Horus and the heresy. Now, and if they were being loyalist, man, were they still being really bad. They sabotaged the Raven Guard and their Primarch DNA to make new legionaries and gave it to the Emperor's children. But they actually didn't give it to the Emperor's children. They tricked them because they're Alpha Legion. They tried to blockade the White Scars from figuring out what was going on with a giant fleet battle, which didn't do particularly great. They went to deal with Lehman Russ and almost wiped out the Space Wolves at the Battle of the Alaxis Nebula, but then the Dark Angels came and saved them because the Chaos can't get a win.
Of course.
It just, so much shit happened. There was tons of battles in the Heresy, but the big one is the Battle of Pluto.
Oh.
And this entire thing was that a bunch of sleeper cells have been kind of planted in the Sol system, and Pluto was a major base for communications during the Horus Heresy. And so they really slowly, and I mean engines on minimal power, went to the outskirts of the Sol system and then drifted towards Pluto over an entire year to quietly make their way to the planet without being detected.
Oh.
And then started immediately dropping people and blasting.
Of course.
And of course they're like, okay, destroy the entire astropathic monitoring temple. And therefore they go blind. They won't be able to see all the people coming.
Sure. Sound strategy.
Sound strategy. But unfortunately, these dudes known as the Imperial Fists arrived in this fucking in this fucking spaceship called the Phalanx.
Oh.
Which is a giga temple. And
literal phalanx.
Our good man illiterate Rogel Dorn showed up.
Oh, Rogel Dorn.
Rogel Dorn arrived. Someone who in particular did not like Alpharius. And the two of them actually went and started fighting. They had their big Primarch duel on Pluto. And after a decent amount of fights between the Terminators, between the two of them, and Rogel Dorn's gigantic fuck-off chainsword called the Storm's Teeth.
Oh shit,
and
that is
a
massive.
big chain sword.
Holy shit, that's a chain greatsword.
It's a chain car.
It might as well be. That's a fucking Jesus.
It's a bladed conveyor belt.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Alpharius had also this weapon called the Pale Spear. They were actually going at each other, and he was about to stab Dorn with it, but Dorn fucking just shoulder decked the hell out of Alpharius, and then chain-sworded off both of his arms.
Oh!
Shanked him with his own spear, and then crashed down on his head with the chainsword.
Oh my God.
And our good man Alpharius died a crushing death.
Oh boy, yeah, he did. Looking at this picture of that fight and Rogel Dorn shoulder charging, now I'm a little I'm a little upset that I made the illiterate joke, because he actually looks really dope. He actually looks really cool.
Rogel Dorn looks cool. He's okay. In the book, Alpharius is like, I don't like Rogel. He never lies. How can I trust somebody who never lies?
Oh God, yeah. The Alpha Legion would probably hate everything he stands for.
He's such. I saw a meme recently about that episode of The Office where it's like, why are you the way that you are? Every time I try to do something fun or interesting, you make it not that way. And that was Rogel speaking to Kurz. And I was like, the most unbelievable thing in this statement is that Rogel Dorn wanted to do something fun.
Oh,
that doesn't involve building a freeway.
But yeah, I'm just like, man, this guy looks so cool. And everybody that knows anything about 40K is probably like, oh yeah, Rogel Dorn is so cool. And then I'm over here like, brr, 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 I bet he's illiterate. I'm such a jackass.
It's all right. The Ultramarine fans don't forgive you either.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck them, like, Ultramarine fans. Pfft. Like I care what those plebs think. Oh,
so,
boy. The comment section. Oh, no.
In this battle, Alpharius is, in fact, very dead. No getting around this one.
Yeah.
And this is Alpharius, so we're aware.
This isn't someone pretending to be him that had their face reconstructed, yeah.
And so after that, naturally, the Alpha Legion kind of sunk back. They didn't get that fight. And then everything past that is the Horus Heresy. It ends, we know how that goes. And it's all a complete fucking lie.
Wait, what? Wait, what do you mean it's all a lie? What? Explain. Explain! Hey! What happened? Hey! Man! No! Shai said, and we end the episode here. No, that cannot be where it ends.
So, this is all established canon prior to the book.
Okay.
Which is why I said for the people that hold their comments.
Oh. So what happens?
Would you like to know the real story of Alpharius and Omegon?
Yes, I do. Yes.
All right.
So what you're telling me is everything that we just talked about was like, oh yeah, this is what we think we know about the Alpha Legion, but really, that was all just like a cover story for some other bullshit?
This was all trickery and lies.
Oh, Alpha Legion.
So, Horus was not the first Primarch found.
Oh, really?
Alpharius, the first memory he has is of a mixture of colors that he could barely even perceive, and the sound of talons scratching at a glass around him as he soared through the warp, and demons were like trying to get to him. And he landed, at least what I believe the book told me properly, I think this is correct, but I'm just making sure, on Earth. He showed up on Terra, and the Emperor swiftly found him very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. Before the search for Horus even began, before the Thunder Warriors were even wiped out.
Whoa. That is way before.
Way before. He was found. The first ever Primarch was found far before Horus and was kept a secret by everyone. In fact, the Emperor barely even raised Alpharius. And it was actually raised mainly by Malcador. Remember Malcador the Sigillite?
Oh, yeah. He was he like he was like a really good psyker, was always by the Emperor's side?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay,
Little old man, got a robe. Kind of very subtle compared to the Emperor.
Yeah.
Reading this book, I have confirmed that Malcador the Sigillite is sketchy as fuck.
No kidding. The advisor figure for a big leadership person is sketch.
He is terrifying. It is ridiculous how strong of a psyker this man is, but he was mainly taught by Malcador, and Malcador was always there to help Alpharius grow his gift, quote unquote. Alpharius's gift was to block people out of his mind and to be perceived in a different way. So often, Alpharius would walk around and he would look like a normal person. He would not look giant. He would not exude this like Primarch aura. He would just be a guy. He was still there, but he had this kind of way to have other people perceive him as different.
Okay. So some real psyker bullshit.
Well, he wasn't, well, I guess every Primarch is kind of a psyker, but more so just the concept that he was able to close off his mind from other people.
Okay.
He and Malcador played a game, I believe they call it Regicide, but I think it's basically just chess. It's their version of chess.
I guess chess is Regicide, isn't it?
I suppose, whatever the term.
Yeah.
But as they played back and forth, Like, you know, he would win, they'd get close, and then Malcador would just annihilate him.
Okay.
And then he'd be like, oh, Malcador, you're reading my mind. And he's like, I am. He's like, oh, so often they would constantly work with each other so he could shut people out from his mind.
Okay.
And so Malcador couldn't be able to read his mind anymore.
So that's how he beat him at Regicide.
Exactly. And so eventually he learned how to be better at Regicide, and eventually Alpharius was the best kept secret of the Imperium. Nobody knew a Primarch had been found. This is pre-Great Crusade. This is pre-everything.
Mm-hmm.
And during this time, his entire job was to hone his ability at being stealthy. Is to walk around being completely like a normal menial, being unnoticed, completely being hidden from everybody. Eventually, one of the tasks he did was the idea of pointing out defensive problems in the actual like Holy Terra, the palace, right?
Yeah.
So he went through this incredibly elaborate plan to do an assassination attempt on the Emperor, right?
Right.
And so that involves him going with a gigantic convoy of like mercenaries that are basically like, what's it called? Delivering stuff for the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
And then him being one of the gunners, him paying off some pilots to shoot at his convoy he would shoot all 3 pilots out of the sky, but they would blow up and he would fling himself out of the gunner seat, but then be on the truck still on the other side, and then hide in the bottom of the truck until they got in there, or until he got into the truck itself,
okay.
And then hide in one of the boxes and assume and everyone else would assume he'd be dead. And then he would appear out of the box. He would leave. He ended up killing a custodian in the palace.
Okay. No small feat.
He is a Primarch.
That's true. That's fair.
So he took the custodian's armor and weapon.
Mm-hmm.
He went to a gunnery platform, performed inspection, placed a little doodad on one of the guns, left, removed the custodian armor, and then went to the landing pad where the Emperor was going to land with the custodian's guardian spear aimed at where the Emperor was going to be standing.
Oh boy,
that was his elaborate fucking plan.
That is a hell of a plan. And he was gonna try to assassinate the Emperor?
The concept was to point out flaws in the security system.
Got you. So he wasn't actually gonna kill the Emperor. He was just like, "Hey, look where I got, and this is how I did it." And he probably,
he would have shot at the Emperor, but it probably would have done jack.
That's true. He's the Emperor.
So it's more of just like a statement.
Yeah, and this is back when the Emperor was like at full power anyway. So
yeah,
good luck.
So an interesting thing was that he was like on a rooftop or like a battlement, really, really hidden, with his spear pointed down at the drop ship. And the Emperor walked out and met up with like Malcador, who was there.
Mm-hmm.
And then at a quick moment, when he's staring down at them, Malcador's head just snaps and stares him like right in the eyes.
Oh!
Like from super far away, Malcador's like looks and just like snaps his head all the way around and just stares at Alpharius.
Ooh, that's Malcador's scary.
He's so frightening. Through his psychic power, because he was hidden the whole time, but I guess he had this slight lapse in concentration.
Mm-hmm.
And Malcador's like, "Well, warning, zip."
Damn.
And right though, he noticed that it was less that, but also the thundering sound above his head as a custodian guardian spear shanked through the ceiling right where his head had been to try to stab him in the face. And so he ended up ducking, getting away, and dueling with the captain general of the custodians, known as Constantine Valdor.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the head honcho. And eventually Malcador got them to stop, but it was the concept where it's like, hey, I could have assassinated the Emperor, and Valdor's like, no, you fucking couldn't have. I got you. You didn't get the chance.
I mean,
And then Alpharius was like, hey, look at this button. Click, 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 and then the giant turret went to go face the Emperor's ship.
Oh, right, because he put the little doodad on it.
Yeah, it is like, haha, I got it. And Valdor's like,
Fine, I'm good.
we'll discuss your findings later. And so this is actually what the origin was to the Custodian's blood games.
I guess
the Custodians trying to get in and assassinating the Emperor and then like doing these tests.
Oh, right. I forgot that they did that.
Yeah, this is the origin. This is where it started from.
Oh, that makes sense, because someone infiltrated them and almost got to the Emperor, and of course they would want to make sure that never... That's okay. That clicks. I got you.
Particularly... with all Alpharius being Alpharius and doing all this stuff, he actually found the Custodian Guardian Spear to be really handy and feel really good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why his main weapon is a spear.
Okay. Makes sense.
Because he was like, hey, I like this weapon. This is nice. I'll take it.
I thought you were just going to say, yeah, so he just took the Custodian Spear, and now he uses a Custodian Spear, and it's like, oh, sick.
No, Constantine Valdor was not pleased that he killed one of his Custodians.
Oh, that's right. He did kill a Custodian, didn't he?
Yeah, he was not pleased.
It's like, you could have shown us the faults without killing one of my because there's not a lot of Custodians, right?
Well, 10,000.
In the grand scheme of 40k, that's not a ton, but... Yeah.
No, well, this is like pre lots of stuff, so... But...
Still.
Alpharius was there when the Thunder Warriors were all killed. He didn't take part of it, but he was there.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, oh, Thunder Warriors, they're all dead. Well, fuck. But for a long time, Alpharius was really there to hone his deception skills.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, he was still a secret. He was never announced. Even when they found Horus and when they found the Lion, they found all these people, he was still constantly in the shadows, never being revealed. And he was off doing his own things. One time he spoke to the Lion. The Lion is the Primarch of the Dark Angels, if I didn't make that clear.
Okay.
He spoke to the Lion as one of his soldiers, as a Dark Angels soldier.
Did he really?
And the Lion, yeah, he was just kind of talking to him about like a mission, and the Lion was like, yes, whatever. And he was a little suspicious, but that was it. And Alpharius was like, I'm getting pretty good at this.
Yeah, you fooled a Primarch. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Especially the Lion. He's not easily fooled.
Yep, old Lionel Johnson,
he's
right?
Perceptive. Yeah, Lionel Johnson's a perceptive asshole.
Yep.
So, though, with all the espionage and shenanigans Alpharius had, it was kind of nice to talk a little bit more about his personality.
Mm-hmm.
He's very nice. He understands the concept of morale, and he understands the concept of unquestionable, like, obedience, especially when it comes to secrets.
Oh, of course.
He's got a million secrets.
Yep.
So he's actually very kind to humans. He's kind to his other Astartes. Often his Astartes might be like, are you sure about this, Lord? And other, Primarchs would be like, how are you fucking questioning me?
Yeah.
Where for him, he's like, it's okay to express doubt, because, if I'm wrong, I should know that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
He's a very reasonable guy. He's very nice to people. There's a particularly great moment in the middle of the book where he's helping out a refugee camp or something from that people ran from an alien race, but they said they found, this is when he was looking for his twin brother, Omegon, and this was the lead he was following up, and he was speaking to this couple, this couple, two ladies and a daughter, and they were like, hey, we saw this like great warrior fighting off the aliens when we evacuated. And he's like, oh, that's my lead, So he eventually revealed himself as himself, like the Primarch version of him. And the two ladies like freaked out, and the daughter, and like, oh my god, holy shit, you look exactly like him.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. And eventually the refugee camp got assaulted, and the rest of them had to flee. And so he went to find them, because originally he was going to have one of their librarians wipe the memory so that they wouldn't remember his face.
Right. Because you don't want that, yeah.
Yeah, but he went to go find them and rectify the problem himself.
Okay.
And, well, he's not a psyker.
It's true, he's not. I don't know why this whole time, like, once you said, oh yeah, he's searching for his brother, Omegon, like, as soon as you said that, I was like, man, that's probably the last Primarch that gets found, isn't it? Like... Because, like, Alpharion would be the first one. You got the Alpha. Alpharius, whatever. You got the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end, right?
You putting some pieces together.
Yeah.
Did you know that his flagship is called the Alpha?
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm gonna name my flagship the Sigma. And you can have your flagship the Ligma.
Oh, I was about to say you should have. Oh, you bitch! I was about to do that. I was about to. Your ship can be the Sugma.
You know how Latara Sarin is like Fire of the Ursa Claws?
Yeah.
Imagine just hitting a giant red button in the middle of the ship that just says Ligma balls.
The Ligma claws.
Fire the Ligma claws.
Fire the Ligma claws. What are the Ligma claws?
God damn.
We're so dumb. I love it.
But I remember in the book he had to go rectify the problem with the three of them who saw his face.
Naturally.
And I was like, oh shit, this is interesting. He's gonna murder the shit out of them.
Yeah. Or just erase their minds and turn them into...
He can't erase their minds. Oh, his librarian was wounded. He wasn't around.
Oh, okay.
That was the plan. He had to go fix... It was him alone to go fix the problem.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
And I thought they were gonna kill them, which I thought was surprising because technically, I guess in this book that was like a lesbian couple with their daughter, and I was like, holy shit! They just showed off like a lesbian relationship in a Warhammer book, and then Alpharius is like shank,
yeah,
and then kills their like 6-year-old daughter.
Oh.
I thought that's what the way they were going, and I was like, that is incredibly dark,
super dark,
but I guess fitting in terms of Warhammer, because you know, Lamau civilians. Lol, said Karn the Betrayer. But no, he actually recruited them onto his ship.
Oh. Well,
he was like, hey, I need your loyalty. Either like die or join my ship and be part of the Alpha Legion, like work in comms for my flagship or something. Mm-hmm. And they were like, yeah.
It sure beats death. Yeah,
working on a Astartes vessel? Are you kidding me? Under a Primarch? Like, yes.
Of course. Why wouldn't we? Why would... It's an easy choice.
It was actually kind of nice. It was kind of sweet because they give you a good like hour into the book without knowing anything about them until he mentions them, that they were now his comm officers. You're like, oh, he didn't kill them.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Hooray! It's a feel good story in Warhammer. Let's go.
For once.
Yeah.
That being said, Alpharius being so nice, I'll be also honest, I don't like him.
Really?
He's kind of a huge prick. I don't think anyone besides Rogel Dorm has a superiority complex more than he does.
Oh, really?
He is so smug about himself all the time. He constantly does the, I could have easily bested him in battle. This isn't bragging. This is simply fact.
Oh.
He does that a lot. And he's constantly hidden among other people's ranks and like fooling other Primarchs. He feels so fucking ahead of himself.
Oh, that's fair.
He's got a gigantic ego and superiority complex while shaming other Primarchs for their egos. It's quite hypocritical.
Yep.
And it's a little aggravating.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I just didn't think that Alpharion would be like
Alpharius.
I don't know why I keep
I am Alpharius.
Alpharius, right, whatever. I don't know why I didn't think he would be like that. I didn't think he would be so smug, you know, because he's always staying hidden. He didn't murder those two people, and he let them become. He seemed like he'd be kind of a little more, and he's all about morale and taking the advice of his troops. I just didn't think he'd be a smug bitch.
That's why he is smug, because he deems himself better than all the other Primarchs because they don't do that.
That's true.
I mean, he's probably one of the nicest Primarchs besides Vulcan in terms of how he treats civilians and other people. He does care, but he's still kind of a prick.
I was gonna say it's not exactly a high bar we're setting either.
Not entirely.
It's like, oh, he's not as good as Vulcan, but it beats the other people that just murder them without care.
So, interestingly enough, they actually get a bead on Omegon, his twin brother, on the planet that the three of them were evacuated from. And what they do is they go to that planet, and they are immediately ambushed by the sloth. I don't think Shy has any pictures of the sloth.
I hope it's what I think, and they're just like bipedal actual sloths that have
they are not
big claws, and they're just really slow, but they're really tanky.
They're actually fucking horrifying.
Oh God! What is
they're also known as maggot men.
Oh no! I hate it. I hate. Oh, it's not. That's
The Carrion Masters, or the Dream Eaters. They are an alien race. They have been mentioned before, and they're actually still around, but they're not talked about or shown much. These things are actually incredibly vile.
Yep.
They are just giant. They're bipedal things full of maggots for hands and worms covering the face. And they've got these other ones called like constructs and warrior constructs, and they are giant, floating, contorting balls of flesh.
Oh.
And they float around in the air and then when they see you, they jut out giant spiked limbs and like giant metal spears from their body and open up huge like full teeth gaping maws, and they skitter at you like the speed of a lion.
Whoa.
And they pull out like giant necrotic laser beams from their mass to fire, and it like burns through power armor. It's like Necron lasers.
Whoa.
And they've got sorcerers, those dudes with the maggots. They've got sorcerers and giant spears. They have no pain receptors. The way the guy they actually, one of them 1v1'd Alpharius, was like grabbed both of his arms and started seeping acid into his like gauntlets.
Jesus.
And he was like holding Alpharius down. And the voice actor did a really good job with this, because the thing spoke to him, and he had this very like flesh thing. I will feast on you, kind of shit like that.
Ew.
It was really nasty. Those like 3 warrior constructs and one of those guys killed like 5 fucking Astartes and like 2 Terminators.
Okay, that's a big deal.
These dudes are nuts.
Whoa.
Their fleet. They had a fleet. Like they're spacefaring.
Oh, these maggot people are spacefaring? Like what does their ship look like?
And like I have no fucking idea, but they consume and like eat flesh and stuff. They eat the dead. But they had a fleet, and when Alpharius's flagship arrived, they were taking a beating. They had to retreat because the fleet like was battering their ship.
Holy Jesus!
These things are honestly like so incredibly disgusting the way they were described.
Yeah.
And so incredibly disgusting to look at. I hope we see more of them.
I was gonna say they sound like they'd make really dope minis.
They
just a
would.
Disgusting sloth army. Also, that picture you posted, there's like there's something on the dude's belt that goes up to his face. It's like a pipe that goes all the way up to his face. Is that how they survive? Is there something in there, or is it never really described?
It might be one of his scepters. There's a couple different images of sloths and all. Some of them have like. Here we go. I got some images for you, my friend.
Let's go.
You. Don't you worry. And it's also for Shy too, because I don't think she knows about this.
Oh God! Put the mask back on. Oh Jesus!
There's that thing as well. There is a lot of these things, and they are just awful. Here's actually a good picture of the construct. You might need to click on that one.
Oh no! Oh God, that's awful. Oh no,
Yeah.
boy, that's
one of those fucking things bit the head off of a space marine with that maw.
yeah, I don't doubt that. That's
Not a fan. Very gross.
nope. That is oh boy, they really should make minis out of those.
Totally.
Yeah, they should. That man, you could do the robed guy with his mask on and just have like his limbs be icky crawlers and stuff too, like that. Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd be so cool.
These are actually pretty dope. I wish they would do more.
Yeah.
Anyway, this planet was being attacked by all these aliens, but Omegon was still supposed to be on this planet. In fact, the main dudes there with the scepters, they have like sorcery magic, like necro magic. And so they eventually, pretty much all of Alpharius's guys die, and besides him. And eventually, him alone finds Omegon, and Omegon is there in scaled up armor, holding a giant spear.
Oh,
Kind of just like Alpharius was.
right.
The difference is that he actually has this very fancy spear known as the Saracenata. It's also known as the Pale Spear, but it was known to possibly be a relic from the Sloth. So that whole story about him being taken by the Sloth and being mind-fucked and stuff, never happened.
Oh. Okay.
Never occurred. He just happened to land on a planet that had already been overran or killed by the Sloth. And he had one of their weapons there. And eventually he hitchhiked with a pirate vessel that came around. And he hitchhiked his way off of it into a different area.
Okay.
So he just kind of landed on like a dead world, hunting and stuff. But that pale spear kind of seemed like it would phase in and out of the material realm, and whatever it would slice, it would turn straight into like an oily black fog.
Oh.
Which was actually something that the Sloth were able to do in combat. So it's like a relic Sloth weapon, perhaps, or something of that nature.
Yeah.
But eventually, they meet up. Oh my god, we're finally together. Oh my god, my soul feels like whole.
Mm-hmm.
And they talked for a while. And they came to the conclusion that the Emperor probably didn't know about Omegon.
Probably not. Yeah.
And the concept that actually in the warp, they were split in two.
Oh.
So when they were pulled, that's why their soul always felt halved. Because they were actually duplicated into two separate Primarchs.
Oh.
Which is probably why he's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff.
So it's not necessarily that they're twins. It's literally like a duplication of him, that they were like duplicated in the warp and they were just...
That's their theory.
Ah, okay.
That's the theory that they said. We don't fully know, but that's their theory.
Okay.
So eventually he tells them everything about what happened and all that. And they eventually had to fight their way through the Sloth, which was a lot easier now that they were together, because together they're just like a really good fighting force.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because, of course, double Primarch. They eventually escaped through a shuttlecraft and made their way back to their ship. And so then came the question of what the hell to do.
Yeah. Big question. Jeez.
And so they said, hey, why ever reveal Omegon?
Oh.
Or in a sense, why doesn't Omegon take the name Alpharius?
Oh.
So Horus never met the real Alpharius. Or maybe he did at some other point, but we don't know. The person who jumped onto the ship was actually Omegon.
Oh, wow.
Who took the name Alpharius.
Oh, that's some tricky shit.
While all the other time, Alpharius pretended to be Omegon.
Oh.
And so Rogel Dorn did not kill Alpharius. Rogel Dorn killed Omegon.
Oh.
And it's said that Guilliman later on actually killed Alpharius, but I don't believe that for a second, because it barely has any like story to it. and he says he killed Alpharius. Like, yeah, which?
Well, yeah, which one? Like, are you sure that you killed him? Also, that totally fucks with that prophecy, right? Because, well, actually, does it?
Well, that's the question.
Because then it would have been Omegon that was, or whatever, joining Horus, and that wasn't the first Primarch. That was like the. Ooh boy, that's an M. Night Shyamalan right there, dude. There's a lot of twists.
Some people think that Alpharius was like maybe posing as Omegon was supposed to be more chaos related, while Omegon posing as Alpharius was supposed to do more loyalist stuff, or they had disagreements, or neither of that, or maybe because Alpharius, who was actually Omegon, was helping Horus, and while Omegon, who was actually Alpharius. You see why I was hesitant?
Yep. I definitely see the sort of problems that would arise here. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I saw one of my favorite comments about the book. I'm going to read you this comment.
Okay.
I still can't believe that, canonically, Omegon took the name Alpharius, while Alpharius took the name Omegon, and then when Alpharius, who was Omegon, was killed by Dorm, Omegon, who was actually Alpharius, renamed himself Alpharius in honor of Alpharius, who was actually Omegon.
Oh, that's a
So when
lot.
when Alpharius, who was Omegon, died to Dorn, Omegon, who was Alpharius the whole time, renamed himself to Alpharius in memory of Alpharius, who was actually Omegon.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And you wonder why I wanted to wait on this.
Oh my god. So
Omegon is dead.
Omegon
Alpharius is alive.
Okay, cool. I was like, wait, so
Well,
does that
at
make
least we think.
Alpharius Omegon because he was
We think Omegon's dead.
yeah. That's
If
Boy, that's
Omegon
confusing.
if Omegon was still Alpharius and stayed as Alpharius the whole time, and they never swapped, which I'm goddamn certain they did.
Mm-hmm.
So all I know is that one of the twin Primarchs is dead.
One of them is gone. Does it really matter which one is? Surely not. They're twins. It's fine.
The book literally opens with, "I am Alpharius. This is a lie."
You told me about that, and I was like, oh my god, that's perfect.
The book ends with, "I am Alpharius. This is a lie." When he was speaking to Horus.
Oh boy, that is. I don't even.
Literally in the book, they were talking about like Imperial records.
Uh-huh.
And he was talking about how records always tell the story of someone, and you know, a lot of times Imperial records lie to make things work.
Sure.
And he was talking about the whole thing because the book is told from a first person perspective.
Yeah.
And he at the end of this whole monologue, he's like, "But then again, this is my record, and all records lie."
Oh, damn it.
And so they even have a back out if they want to retcon everything.
Oh, jeez. I gotta be honest with you. I feel more confused after learning everything than I did before we started. The Alpha Legion is so weird and wonky, and the I guess just the Primarchs are just like, holy shit, what the fuck is going on?
Hydra Dominatus, my dude.
Yeah, Hydra Dominatus. Yeah, you cut off one head and another one grows back, right?
Mm-hmm. That's why you could never kill Alpharius, because we're all Alpharius.
Well, yeah, they all look like him, or at least a lot of them do. Was it everybody? Did you say, or is it just a bunch of them that?
A bunch.
Okay.
And some that are better at performing as if they were Alpharius than Alpharius, because don't forget, Alpharius Omegon can both do that thing where they can like kind of hide themselves.
Oh, it's true.
So even so,
oh my god, like literally I have a bit of a headache trying to wrap my head around like Alpharius and Omegon and like all the swapping and all the deception. That's wild. It's kind of cool though, like how deceptive it is and how confusing it is and how just it is kind of a neat like sort of mystery of like, is it really Alpharius? Did he really? Is the book accurate? How much did they fuddle it? And it's kind of cool, actually. So
it gives them it's in the beginning it was needlessly complicated. It is better now. I'm a bit better with understanding it now. So long as everything that was said was correct.
Yeah.
The problem comes with everything after, because the book ends with the meeting of Omegon, who was pretending to be Alpharius, with Horus. Which, in a sense, does make them the first and the last. Because you are right, Omegon was the last to be found.
Yeah.
Both in terms by Alpharius and by Horus. So in reality, that fleet that Horus was fighting was a fake fleet entirely meant to fabricate the lie that Omegon made a fleet. Or actually, to perpetuate the lie that Alpharius made a fleet. Because remember how you said that Omegon, or Alpharius, remember how we said that Alpharius had a fleet that Horus was sent to go deal with?
Yeah.
So that entire fleet was all a lie made up to make the original discovery of Alpharius its own deal, even though it was actually Omegon, not Alpharius, who was found on the planet below.
Oh boy, that's a lot. Oh,
plans
boy.
within plans within plans.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. One time he destabilized the planet's political hierarchy and plunged them into civil war. And the group that rose up were chanting "Blood for the Blood God."
Oh.
So he accidentally caused a coronate cult.
Whoops. All according to
funny.
plan. I meant to do that. It's fine, right? You meant to do that.
Nah, it's Alpharius.
Yeah, it's
Who cares?
Alpharius. Yeah.
So, in terms of game, Alpha Legion are a Chaos Space Marine faction.
Okay.
You play them as Chaos Space Marines. They do not have rules for loyalists. They are Chaos Space Marines.
Okay.
That being said, they have done a lot of shit that would peg them as Chaos. However, they have had groups of the Alpha Legion do stuff that was actually good and loyalist. Some would say that because they had such a surprisingly bad time holding off the White Scars and weren't able to kill the Space Wolves, that was a sign of them holding back to pretend like they're Chaos.
Oh, right.
Others would say that Chaos just simply can't catch a break.
That's
Both are
also
correct.
fair, yeah.
Both are also right. No matter what, their color scheme is really cool.
Their armor is very cool too, with the scales
armor-
and everything. Yeah.
Their armor is badass. Their the Hydra symbol is cool. Hydra Dominatus is a pretty cool war cry.
Yep.
It's nowhere near as cool as Ave Dominus Nox. Fuck you. But
Is it possible that the Alpha Legion is literally doing chaos and loyalist stuff just to confuse everybody, and they're not really specifically on one side? They're just trying to be as deceptive as possible to fool chaos. And
that was one concept where maybe one Primarch is doing chaos stuff, one Primarch is doing loyalist stuff, and perhaps the Alpharius, who actually was Omegon, dying to Dorn, perhaps was the loyalist stuff. Or they're both doing both because nothing can be simple.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like they do both because they're like, well, we want to be deceptive to everybody, and we don't want chaos getting a beat on us, but we don't want the Imperium to get a beat on us. So let's just confuse everybody and do chaos and loyalist shit.
I honestly don't have an answer, and I don't even think Alpha Legion players have one either.
Yeah, probably not. It's a I don't think it's a question you could answer, right?
It seems like the answer is just they're doing stuff. And honestly, if we did have an answer, it would really like ruin the fun.
That's true. Yeah, Shai said like if we had an answer, the Alpha Legion would be lame, and that's true because then there'd be no deception, there'd be no question about it. You would just know that they're just being shitlords for the sake of confusing both sides. So yeah, I guess the mystery is what makes the Alpha Legion so fun.
It is the color scheme and the mystery, and the fact that the Primarch is two of them.
Yeah.
And of course the I'm Spartacus kind of shtick.
I'm Spartacus, I'm Alpharius.
And I mean, Hydra heads look fucking cool.
Oh yeah, and like we already said, the armor super dope, dope. So
I had to scramble through the first 25 minutes of lying in order to properly make the reveal decent enough, because if I don't do a little bit of that, then it's not an Alpha Legion episode. Man, I tried my best today.
That was fun, like, when you were like, oh yeah, by the way, that's all a lie, and then you went silent for like a minute. I was I was foaming at the mouth to know what the fuck happened and what you were talking about. So I was thoroughly engrossed in the Alpha Legion's deception and the Primarchs, obviously.
I'm glad that you were. The Alpha Legion was a tricky one. Honestly, this is the episode. If I didn't do a great job at it, I'm sure I'll hear about it. If I did, good. Now we can move on to important things.
Yeah, like Latar Sarin ab pictures.
That you've done your work with my Thunder Warriors.
Oh, Alpha Legion.
Oh, Alpha Legion.
Oh,
all
Alpha
right.
Legion.
Should I take us home?
Country Road.
Country roads.
No, that wasn't an
it's
invite
a brick
to this thing. That was
on Twitter.
Oof.
All right, I got it.
Oh boy.
I'm my husband, Bricky. Thank you very much for watching, listening, whatever the fuck. I don't know. DK, where can they find you?
I'm Alpharius, and you can find me at DK Diamantes everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. I can't believe you didn't. What is wrong with you?
God damn it. All right, I'm Alpharius. You can find me at Alpharius at alpharius.com. DK, Alpharius, where can they find you?
No, leave it, Shy, leave it. I was the top tier purveyor in 40k memery this time for the end of this episode, and that's all you need to know. Or is it?
Or is it?
Dun dun dun.
All right. You can find Quiet Shy, who's actually DK, who's actually Alpharius, who's actually Omegon, over at Quite Shy, or also known as Quite Alpharius, posing as Omegon, killed by Dorn. Actually, Dorn was never Dorn. Dorn was actually Omegon, who was Alpharius, killing Alpharius, who was Omegon. They had a brotherly rivalry. We're done! Learn to read!